Okay, quick question. Have you ever stared up at the night sky and thought, I wonder what it would be like to have a Martian zip code? The stars are basically cosmic glitter, and those planets? They're like the ultimate vacation spots, if you don't mind a little radiation and zero room service. For centuries, humans have been obsessed with the idea of exploring these far-off worlds. We've written stories, made movies, and even doodled rocket ships in our notebooks. But here's the real kicker. Could we actually pack our bags and move to another planet one day? Sounds wild, right? Like something straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster or your favorite comic book. But get this, some of the world's brightest minds are actually working on it. Scientists, engineers, and dreamers are teaming up, swapping ideas and building gadgets that could make living on another planet more than just a plot twist. They're not just daydreaming, they're running experiments, building prototypes, and planning for a future where we might have a second home address, somewhere out there. One of the coolest ideas in this cosmic adventure is called terraforming. That's just a fancy way of saying, let's turn a totally unfriendly planet into a place where we can hang out, grow tomatoes, and maybe even play soccer. It's the kind of thing that gets both scientists and sci-fi fans buzzing with excitement. So what is terraforming really? Imagine taking a cold, dry, and lifeless rock and giving it a makeover. Blue skies, flowing water, green fields, the whole package. It's like a planetary home renovation show, but with way more science and a lot less paint. To pull this off, scientists have to play cosmic detective. They compare Earth and other planets like Mars looking for clues. What's different? What's missing? How do we go from nope, can't live here to, hey, this place is actually pretty nice? It's like trying to turn a desert into a rainforest, but on a whole new world. There's a lot to tweak. The air, so we can actually breathe. The temperature, so we don't freeze or fry. And the environment, so we can have water, plants, and maybe even Martian puppies. Okay, maybe not puppies, but you get the idea. Scientists use super cool simulations and wild experiments to figure out how to make these changes. Fun fact, they even measure the tiniest bits of air to see if it's safe for us. Out of all the planets in our solar system, Mars is the real MVP for terraforming. It's rocky, it's cold, and it's got a serious dust problem, but it also has polar ice caps, seasons, and a day that's just a smidge longer than ours. Plus, it's close enough that we can send robots, and maybe even people, to check it out. Mars is basically the fixer-upper of the solar system. Mars is our cosmic neighbor, just down the street if you count millions of kilometers as down the street. Sure, it's not exactly cozy right now. Think, thin air, freezing temps, and dust storms that would ruin your hair. But it's got some Earth-like features. Both planets have valleys, mountains, and polar ice. And here's a fun fact. Scientists think Mars once had rivers and lakes and maybe, just maybe, some kind of life. Picture this, humans building cities under giant domes, or maybe even strolling on Mars without a spacesuit. Talk about a fashion statement. Imagine families planting Martian potatoes, kids playing tag in a park under a sky that's slowly turning blue, and explorers taking their first deep breath of Martian air. It's the ultimate new world adventure. Of course, this is a massive dream. Like, let's build a roller coaster on the moon, massive. Terraforming a planet is a long, tricky process that needs wild new tech, teamwork from all over the world, and a ton of patience. There are some pretty big hurdles like making air we can breathe and keeping future Martians safe from cosmic rays and dust storms. But hey, every experiment, every mission, and every oops that didn't work moment gets us one step closer to making this cosmic dream come true. So who's ready to pack their bags for Mars? Imagine Earth and Mars as cosmic siblings. One's the lively, outgoing type who throws epic parties, and the other's a bit of a loner, hanging out in the cold red corner of the solar system. Sure, they both orbit the same sun and started out with the same cosmic building blocks, but wow, did they take different paths? It's like one became a tropical paradise and the other, well, a giant dusty freezer. Let's take a closer look at these two planetary personalities. Earth is basically the life of the solar system party. We've got sparkling blue oceans, lush green forests, and cities that never sleep. Our atmosphere is like a cozy blanket, full of oxygen and nitrogen, keeping us safe from nasty space rays and making sure we don't freeze or fry. And don't forget the weather. Clouds, rain, and even the occasional rainbow keep things interesting. If planets had Instagram, Earth would have the most followers, hands down. Thanks to our thick atmosphere, Earth has a water cycle that's basically nature's recycling program. Clouds float by, rain falls, rivers flow, plants and animals love it. Plus, our magnetic field is like a superhero shield blocking out dangerous solar winds. No wonder life thrives here. Now let's check in on Mars. Mars is the strong, silent type, cold, dry, and rocking that signature rusty red look. Its surface is a never-ending desert of rocks and dust, with ancient volcanoes and canyons that would make even the Grand Canyon jealous. But don't expect to find any oceans or forests here, just lots of red, and the occasional planet-sized dust storm. Mars, the original minimalist. The Martian landscape is like a sci-fi movie set. Winds whipping up dust, pinkish skies, and storms that can cover the whole planet. It's harsh, sure, but there's a mysterious beauty to it. Fun fact: Mars has the tallest volcano and the deepest canyon in the solar system. Take that, Earth. But here's the catch: Mars's air is mostly carbon dioxide, not exactly the breath of fresh air you'd want. There's barely any oxygen, and the pressure is so low that if you stepped outside without a suit, you'd have a really bad day. Think, your blood boiling. Yikes. So if you're planning a Mars vacation, don't forget your spacesuit and oxygen tank. Mars's atmosphere is about 100 times thinner than Earth's. That means liquid water can't just hang out on the surface. It either evaporates or freezes faster than you can say, red planet. So, no lakes for swimming or rivers for rafting. Sorry, adventure seekers, but here's a cool tidbit. Scientists think Mars used to have rivers and lakes. Today, most of the water is locked up as ice under the surface or at the poles. If you tried to melt it though, the thin air would just make it vanish into vapor. Mars is basically the ultimate escape artist when it comes to water. And let's talk temperature. Earth is like Goldilocks, just right for life. Mars? Not so much. It's the kind of place where you'd need a parka, a heated suit, and maybe a cup of hot cocoa, or 3. On average, Mars is a bone-chilling -63 degrees Celsius. That's -81 Fahrenheit. And at night it gets even colder. Forget snowmen. You could make a dry ice sculpture instead. It gets so cold that carbon dioxide, the stuff in your soda, freezes into dry ice at the poles during winter. Imagine a landscape covered in frosty alien snow. Mars is basically the solar system's ultimate winter wonderland, minus the hot chocolate. Mars has seasons too, but they're wild. Temperatures and air pressure swing like a roller coaster. Even our toughest robots need special gear to survive. Mars is not messing around. So if we want to turn Mars into a second Earth, we've got our work cut out for us. Thickening the air, warming things up, and finding a way to keep water around. It's a tall order, but hey, humans love a challenge. With some clever science, a dash of creativity, and maybe a little Martian luck, we just might pull it off. Who knows? One day Mars could be the hottest new address in the solar system. Alright, space fans, let's talk about the big question. Why Mars? Why not pick another planet for our cosmic makeover show? I mean, Venus and Mercury are right there looking all mysterious and shiny. So, what's the deal? Well, Venus is basically a giant oven wrapped in a poisonous blanket. Its surface is hot enough to melt lead. Seriously, you could bake a pizza in seconds, but you'd never get to eat it. And Mercury? It's the ultimate drama queen. Scorching hot during the day, freezing at night, and way too close to the sun for comfort. SPF 1 million anyone? But Mars? Mars is the cool cousin at the family reunion. Sure, it's got its quirks, but it's way more inviting. Fun fact, a day on Mars is just a smidge longer than ours. About 24 hours and 37 minutes. So you get a little extra snooze time. Plus, Mars has polar ice caps made of real water ice. That's right, future Martians might have snowball fights. And get this, scientists think Mars used to be a warm, wet planet with rivers and lakes. Imagine ancient Martian beach parties. So if we could bring back those cozy conditions, Mars might just be the next best place for life in the solar system. Who's ready to pack their bags? Okay, so you want to turn Mars into a second Earth? Buckle up. Terraforming Mars is basically the ultimate cosmic DIY project. Scientists have cooked up some wild ideas for how to pull this off. Each one with its own set of "are you serious" challenges. First up, what if we pumped a bunch of greenhouse gases into the Martian air? Think of it as giving Mars its very own planetary puffer jacket. The idea is that these gases would trap heat from the sun, warming things up, and maybe even melting those chilly polar ice caps. Instant Martian hot tub, anyone? Or how about this? We could hurl comets or asteroids at Mars. Don't try this at home. The impacts would smash open water and other goodies, thickening the atmosphere and maybe kickstarting a greenhouse effect. Boom! Martian makeover! And those are just 2 ideas. There's a whole menu of wacky, wonderful terraforming concepts out there. But let's be real, right now these are just theories. No one's packing their Martian sunscreen just yet. We're still light years away from having the tech to pull this off. But hey, dreaming big is half the fun. So, you want to terraform Mars? Well, buckle up because this is no walk in the park, or should I say no stroll across the Martian plains. Turning the red planet into a cozy second home is a wild ride full of cosmic curveballs. Before we start packing our bags and dreaming of Martian picnics, let's take a look at the big red obstacles standing in our way. Spoiler alert, Mars is not making this easy for us, but hey, who doesn't love a good challenge? First up, gravity. Mars's gravity is only about 38% of Earth's. That means if you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you'd weigh just 38 pounds on Mars. Great for your self-esteem, not so great for keeping an atmosphere or building sturdy Martian skyscrapers. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to try a low-gravity somersault? But the downside is, Mars just can't hold on to its air like Earth can. Because Mars is a bit of a lightweight, it's lost most of its atmosphere over millions of years. Solar winds and radiation have basically given Mars a cosmic haircut, stripping away its air and leaving behind a wispy layer of carbon dioxide. So even if we managed to pump up the atmosphere, it would be like trying to keep a balloon inflated with a hole in it. Eventually, it all just floats away. Imagine spending centuries making Mars all warm and cozy, only to have the sun and space say, nope, and steal it all away. Even if we unleash a greenhouse gas party or import some icy comets, Mars's atmosphere would still be on the run. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain wide open. Constant work, and you're always losing water. And here's another fun fact. Mars doesn't have a global magnetic field. On Earth, our magnetic field is like a superhero cape, shielding us from nasty solar and cosmic radiation. Mars, on the other hand, lost its cape billions of years ago. So it's out there, totally exposed, like a sunbather who forgot their sunscreen. Earth's magnetic field is the unsung hero of our planet. It keeps us safe from space weather and helps our atmosphere stick around. Without it, Mars is basically getting pelted by solar particles 24/7. Not exactly the best place for a summer vacation, or for life as we know it. So, what does all this mean for future Martians? Well, unless you're a fan of living underground or wearing a super chunky radiation suit, you might want to hold off on buying that Martian timeshare. The surface is blasted with radiation every day, making it a tough spot for humans, or any earthly life, to hang out without some serious protection. And these are just the highlights. From low gravity and a leaky atmosphere to missing magnetic fields and cosmic rays, Mars is throwing everything it's got at us. But hey, if anyone can turn a barren planet into a new home, it's us humans. With a little help from science, teamwork, and maybe a dash of stubborn optimism. So who's ready for the ultimate planetary makeover? So, can we just whip out some fancy gadgets and solve all our Mars problems? Well, not so fast. Sure, technology is awesome, just look at how far we've come from floppy disks to smartphones. But to terraform Mars, we'll need to level up in a big way. First up, we need rockets and spaceships that can haul a mountain of gear all the way to Mars. Think of it as the ultimate moving day, except your new home is a whole planet away. And who's going to do all the heavy lifting? Robots, of course. We'll need super smart, tireless machines to build, dig, and maybe even play a little Martian soccer. But here's the real kicker. We have to invent tech that can actually change the whole planet's environment. No pressure, right? Fun fact, Mars is about 100 times drier than the driest desert on Earth. We've never tried anything like this before. It's going to take some serious brain power, wild ideas, and maybe a dash of Martian luck. Okay, so, how long would it actually take to turn Mars into a second Earth? Spoiler alert, you might want to pack a few extra snacks for the trip. We're not just talking about a weekend makeover here. This is a full-on planetary glow-up, changing everything from Mars's thin, chilly atmosphere to its rusty red surface. Some scientists say it could take hundreds or even thousands of years to make Mars comfy enough for humans to stroll around without spacesuits. That's a lot of birthdays on the red planet. But hey, these are just educated guesses. Science is full of surprises. Just ask Pluto. The real timeline could be way shorter, or way longer. It all depends on what wild ideas we come up with, and how many cosmic curveballs Mars throws our way. So keep your space helmets handy. So, can we really terraform Mars? Or is that just sci-fi movie magic? Honestly, we have no idea. But hey, that's what makes it so much fun to think about. Scientists and engineers are on the case, puzzling over Mars like it's the ultimate cosmic Rubik's Cube. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good space mystery? Turning Mars into a second Earth? That's a tall order. But it's also the kind of wild idea that gets people dreaming, and building really cool robots, Imagine calling Mars home. You'd get to say, "Sorry, I can't come to your party, my rocket's in the shop." Now that's a conversation starter. Even if we never see a terraformed Mars in our lifetimes, chasing this dream will spark amazing discoveries and tech breakthroughs. Who knows? Maybe your grandkids will be the first Martian pizza delivery drivers. The future's wide open and it's looking pretty red.